We all set?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Why don't we call the meeting to order? Can we please have a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Councilmember Thier.
Here.
Vice Mayor Nick Farr.
Present.
Mayor Wellner.
Here.
Thank you.
Great. So, like to start off by wishing everyone a Happy New Year and apologizing that I'm not there in person. After scheduling this meeting, I then unexpectedly had to leave town. So, sorry about that. I'll be pausing in between things a little bit more than usual since I won't always be able to see what's happening. I'll rely on you guys and on Greg to chime in and let me know if someone wants to speak or if there's a need to pause. So let's get started. Why don't we?
I have an announcement to make, Mayor Wellner.
Sure.
I am very, very sick, so I am appearing remotely under the Brown Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start off with public comment from anyone who would like to speak on something that is not on the current agenda.
Mayor Wellner, does not appear to be anyone in person or online who would like to speak.
All right. So that being the case, we can move to our first item, which is the consent calendar. Is there anyone on the council who would like to pull anything from the consent calendar? No. Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment on or pull anything from the consent calendar?
Mayor Wellner, we're seeing no public comment, either online or in person. If you would don't mind, though, I would like to make a quick announcement. At the staff table, many of you know that we've hired a new community development director, Sherry Meads. She is at the staff table, and this is the first time that she's attended a council meeting. So I'd like to formally introduce Sherry, who's here. And we do have a number of folks from the public who are here as well. So introducing Sherry to you as well. And we all look forward to working with Sherry and getting to know her as she gets her feet on the ground and gets to learn more about Tiburon.
That's great. Welcome, Sherry. Can we have the camera focus on her for a second so that everyone can see her? And
I'm not sure. Chris, are you hearing that?
There we go. Hi, Sherry.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, okay.
Thanks very much.
Well, good evening, Mayor and council members. I'll just say thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited to get to know everyone. I have met two of the council members in the interview process, but I look forward to listening and learning from the community and the electeds and really hoping to move Tiburon forward in the way that the community desires. So thank you for the warm welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right, let's return to the consent calendar. Do I have a motion from anyone to approve it?
Yeah, I would make a motion that we approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Fantastic. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Fredericks.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Councilmember Thier.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nick Farr.
Yes.
Mayor Wellner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. So now we can move to our action items. We're going to change the order just a little bit since we're going to first jump to item 2, committee appointments, so that Council Member Thier can participate and then maybe go to bed since she's not feeling well. So why don't we start with that? I think, can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the council are appointed to serve on a variety of local and regional boards and committees and as town representatives on a number of joint powers authorities. They also serve on town standing and ad hoc committees to study issues or projects in town. It's a regular practice of the town council to conduct an annual review of the list of appointments at the first meeting of the new year. And that's what we're here for this evening. It's an opportunity for council members to retain or change seats on any of these committees. Also, there are 3 ad hoc committees. We're going to first review the list of existing committees, and at the very end, there are 3 ad hoc committees that need members appointed to them, and that will be the Town Manager's Performance Evaluation Ad hoc Committee, the Fiscal Year 26-27 Municipal Budget and Finance Ad hoc Committee, and the Mayor has requested a new ad hoc committee to be formed related to the future of the corporation yard, the Public Works Corporation yard. So with that, on the screen here in the chambers and also on Zoom, we have, we're going to be able to scroll down through the list of committees. And at this point, I'll kind of turn it over to the mayor.
Okay, and before we do that, I can't see, is our town council present?
Yes.
Yes. I'm just curious, do we need to have public comment on this, or can we just go through this because it's a different kind of item?
We need to have public comment.
Okay, so before we start going through the committee list, why don't we pause for a moment and see if there's any public comment about the committee appointments?
It does not appear to be any public in the room or online who would like to comment.
Okay, very good. So yeah, so let's, I don't think we need to name each of these items, but why don't we just kind of scroll upward, and then if there's any changes that need to occur with any of the ones that are on the screen, if people can make it known. I mean, I guess we might as well just talk about them. So there's ABAG, the Block Grant Priority Setting Committee. Any change there? No? Okay. League of California Cities. If you can scroll. Okay, no change. Marine Clean Energy.
Can I just make one question?
Yes.
So Councilmember Theo, I'm assuming you still want to be the primary delegate on that. But this year, or in the past year, I should say, you resigned from the technical committee and the executive committee. Is there any way you can get back on there so I can participate in those, and especially on the finance committee as the alternate? I just feel
Yeah, let's talk about that offline, but I'm happy to do that, Jack. You
awesome.
can let
Thank
me
you so
know
much.
which ones you want to be on.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I know that particular committee takes a lot of time and effort, so we really appreciate you both doing that. All right, we have the police chief and police officers on the Emergency Radio Authority Board. Hoping that Jack continues to want to be Richardson Bay Regional Agency Board of Directors. Is that correct? Yes.
Yes, thanks. I'm fighting them off.
Okay, yeah, doing a great job. And Transportation Authority.
I have some changes. I would like not changes, but additions.
Oh, great.
All right. So with respect to TAM, I'm also a member of their expenditure plan review ad hoc committee. And I also, and I can't remember how this came about, but I attend Safe Routes to School as sort of a representative from the Transportation Authority of Marin.
Great. Okay. Thank you. So then for local agencies, we have the Joint Disaster Advisory Council, which has Holly as the representative. Do you want to continue that? Yes, I'll assume yes.
Yes, but the Tiburon Peninsula Traffic Relief Powers Agency, I was going to give that to someone else, and hopefully Isaac is interested in that one.
Yeah, I'd be happy to to take that one, Holly, if you're not interested in continuing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested, but I feel like I've served on it for a long time, and it's time to let someone new have an opportunity. And with the work you'll be doing on Caltrans, I think it's essential that you're on that committee as well.
And Mayor, regarding that particular committee, the JPA board has asked that the town council appoint an alternate to that committee as well. And it could either be a council member as an alternate, or it could be a staff member. City of Belvedere appointed their city manager. The school district appointed the school superintendent as the alternate. It's up to the council, but they would like an alternate appointed as well.
This is for the Tiburon Peninsula traffic?
This is for essentially the bus JPA. Yeah, the Tiburon Peninsula Traffic JPA.
Okay, because I think we have two. Do you mean we need an alternate in addition to the two?
That's correct.
Greg, I thought you were already on it. You're not on it?
No, the
Okay.
council, I think I was appointed as an alternate many, many years ago, but it
Oh, okay.
was never redone. So
Do you want to be on it, Greg?
I'm happy to be the alternate if that's council's wish.
Okay, well,
Okay, so if any other council member wants to be the alternate, let us know. Otherwise, we can take Greg up on his offer. Okay, can I see number 2? I think we passed that by real quick. Oh, the Joint Rec Committee. Okay, for Ranch. All right, so Isaac, you're willing to continue that?
Yes. If anyone else feels strongly about taking that one, that I'm okay with that as well. But yeah, I'm happy to continue there.
Okay. All right, so then the Chamber of Commerce Local Business Task Force, I see we have one vacancy, and then Jack, does anyone want to fill that vacancy, or are we going to continue in the same manner?
I don't think that one's meeting, but
It hasn't.
yeah, I don't think they're meeting.
Okay, one of the things that we'd like to do is if there are defunct committees, we can get rid of them. I don't know if it's not meeting because it's pausing, or if we think it's never going to meet again. Do we know?
I think that one was set up kind of for a special purpose. But I don't think, Jack, I don't think you guys have met in years, right?
Certainly not in the last year.
Maybe we should check in with the chamber and see if they're gonna reconvene those meetings.
That sounds good.
Okay. So why don't Jack, why don't you report back to us at some point, and then we can either leave it or take it off, depending on what you hear.
Great. I'll do that.
Okay. So Diversity Inclusion Task Force, I think we're taking care of later for the schedule that's been specified. Downtown Revitalization, is that a ongoing committee? Jack?
That has not been either. Those seem duplicative, kind of, right?
Yeah, and I think that one was initiated by council. So if it's not meeting and there's no plans to meet, we can always reconstitute it later if we need it, but we can take it out of the mix now.
That makes sense to me.
Okay, so why don't we eliminate? I guess what we'll do is at the end of this, we're gonna vote on all these changes together. But I think the consensus sounds like it's to get rid of number 2, the number 2 committee. Legislative action continues. The Martha property applications is also no longer relevant since that property was successfully acquired. So I would propose that we eliminate committee number 4. And use of technology is still ongoing. So ad hoc committee, sustainability. Alice, do you still want to continue with this, I presume?
Yes, I do if we have business to take care of, and I think we will.
I think we will. Okay, good. This one is particularly relevant to tonight. The utility undergrounding assessment district policy. Why don't we keep that going? And we'll see. Maybe we can get a policy in place this year. It took me a second to figure out what the 2022 court usage was, but it's not judicial courts, it's tennis courts. So
Actually, pickleball.
Pickleball, yeah.
pickleball courts, is that going to continue happening, or is that subsumed by the passage of time?
So it's been to some extent subsumed by the passage of time. I think there's always the possibility that the TPC comes back. But I think that's more of a planning commission thing. So I think we could sunset that committee at the council level.
Okay, if everyone agrees, we can do that.
Yeah.
All right, so number 3 goes away. Parks and Recreation Master Plan. We of course have our master plan now. I don't mind keeping this subcommittee together if there's subcommittee work to be done, although we're going to be having a joint meeting with Post in the next few weeks to talk about next steps on implementing the master plan. So I'm not sure the subcommittee is still needed, but what do you guys think?
I would probably keep it just in case, and then we can always revisit it in a few months.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense? Okay, good. Rules and protocols. Those haven't been produced, so we should keep the committee in place.
Let me say something. If there's a member of the committee that doesn't have the energy to deal with this, I certainly would be interested. I did serve on the Institute for Local Government and the Board of the California Cities when it had another name. Cal Cities had another name, and they address those issues a lot, and there are a lot of resources. And we have a whole history, and I think we should clean it up a little bit. And if the current members, any of them, just don't have the time and energy, I would love to be on it. And if they would like to keep their places, I promise not to bug them.
I think I'd like to keep my place. I don't know, Holly, do you want to keep your place?
I think I think so. But I mean, we can take any amount of input always, you know,
You can just help.
yeah.
Okay. I think the Greenwood Beach Road Safety Subcommittee is active. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Very good. Okay. All right. Then this is number 5 is not done by us, but it's kind of observational, the Golden Gate Bridge District. And then likewise, the committee appointments to MCCMC. Are each of these decided by us for the MCCMC, or is this an MCCMC appointment?
I think I can answer that if staff can't. Basically, we ask the town councils to send a member, and I don't know if they appoint them formally.
It comes from us.
We have members from each of the jurisdictions of Marin on the committee.
So does anyone want to take the alternates to add themselves to the alternate slots for either Ledge Committee or JPA oversight? Okay, and I'm happy to continue on the Climate Change Committee as an alternate if Alice is willing to continue as the delegate.
Yeah, I don't know where it slots in, but let me tell you that there's a Climate Change Bay Wave Committee that produced that particular document. I'm still on that committee. I think that appointment came through the town.
Yeah, that's number 8, actually, that Bay Wave.
Okay, and go on. I have another committee, but plow on and I'll jump up if it doesn't show up.
Okay, all right. So I don't know that the Pension and OPEB Reform Committee is still active, is it?
I mean, it hasn't met at the MCCMC level, but I don't know that MCCMC has disbanded it.
I see. Okay, right. So, all right. So, and unless we learn that any of these committees have been disbanded, we can continue having delegates. Disaster preparedness, water policy. Do we have anyone who wants to take the vacant water policy committee slot? Okay, we can leave it vacant.
I'll take that one.
Great.
Let me say are we talking about Bay Wave?
No, he's talking about water policy.
Okay.
So thank you for taking that spot. And then Bay Wave, as we were just saying, Alice's, your
And I-
appointment was affirmed by the council now 9 years ago, but I presume we can continue.
Yes, and I'm on an ad hoc committee there that looks at consolidating marine sea level rise planning.
Okay, great. Homeless Policy Steering Committee. I'm not sure that it's met, but we can continue if Isaac is willing.
I haven't received any information about meetings. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right. And then I think,
Is this the time to add other appointments that aren't on the list?
No.
well, definitely from MCCMC.
We're
Are there
still-
other spots?
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you wrapped up MCCMC.
Oh, no, I'm just, I mean, I don't know what else is on this. I can't see below the screen. Oh, okay, so this is the end. So if there are other committees in addition to what is listed here under other areas of interest, please chime in.
So it looks like the rest of them are staff appointments of staff. I'm also on two other countywide committees, one from the Marin County Office of Equity. It's the Countywide Equity Collaborative. That's a county appointment. I'm also on the Marin Forum Board as a local government representative.
Great. So why don't we add those to section 7,
Okay.
and then yeah, and then we have the Performance Evaluation Committee and the Finance Committee, which is probably on the next page, which I would like to propose we continue with our practice of mayor and vice mayor serving on those, if the vice mayor is willing.
Okay.
It's the performance evaluation and the finance.
Yours.
Yeah, continuing the practice is good.
Yep, that's good.
Okay, and then the corporate yard ad hoc subcommittee is something I'd like to kind of think hard about it this year, maybe do a site visit, kind of do some brainstorming. I'd like to be on that ad hoc subcommittee. I'm looking for a partner who might be interested in doing that as well.
So I was on that subcommittee a decade ago when we had a multi-million-dollar plan for revamping the Corp Yard. But if you would believe that I can reduce my expectations and no one else is interested, I would serve.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think that's the list. Are there any other committees anyone knows about or can think of? Okay, great, thank you.
Actually, can I throw one thing at you, Mayor? And I don't know if this is exactly the time, but do we want to consider forming or being a part of a community-wide committee to think about 4th of July celebrations, given that this is 250 years? I mean, it could only be one.
I love that idea. And now I guess it's not agendized as a subject matter topic, but we are talking about committee appointments and we can create committees. Does the town council have any objection to creating a new committee?
Or we can just talk about it at another meeting.
That's a great idea, Jack. That's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll talk at a later meeting.
Okay.
Thanks.
I will say, just appropriate to that topic, kind of, my family was just amazed when we had there was a anniversary party for Tiburon with the most amazing fireworks display downtown. I think Alice was involved in doing that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So very exciting. All right, so we'll
Even though I'm a politician, I cannot take full credit for it. A few hundred other people participated in making it happen.
It was an amazing event.
It was amazing.
Anyway, fireworks or any other kind of 4th of July celebration would be lovely to look at. Okay. So I think that concludes the conversation about committees. I think we should have a motion to implement what we just discussed in a second.
So
I
moved.
hope that we implement the decisions, the recommendations of the discussion.
I would second that.
Great. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Fredericks, Councilmember Ryan,
Yes.
Councilmember Thier,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickfar,
Yes.
Mayor Wellner.
Yes. All right. So now let's go back to the first action item regarding the undergrounding district.
Okay, Mayor Wellner, we're just changing up the display
Yeah,
here,
the display,
and
no
we'll
problem.
jump off in just a sec.
I have to say, Holly, your display is very ghostly. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yes, I've been trying to adjust it. It is very bad.
yeah,
I
it's
don't know if
kind
it's
of a
the service
blob
or
silhouette.
wet. It looks like yeah, it's not ideal.
Okay.
Did we get this?
All right. So whenever you're ready with the presentation, why don't you proceed with the staff report, please?
Okay, just confirming that Mayor Wellner and Vice Mayor Thier can see the presentation.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And just make sure my clicker's working. Yep. Great. This item is related to the proposed Mar West utility undergrounding district. The staff report indicates three recommendations. This evening, I'm just going to ask council to act on their first recommendation, which is to establish, if they choose, the amount of funding, which we call subscription deposits, that property owners in the proposed district must contribute for the completion of biddable construction documents and the final engineer's report, in the amount, if any, the town is willing to contribute prior to district formation. A bit of background here, as council knows, a group of property owners on Mar West are interested in forming a utility undergrounding assessment district. These are, we're going to be calling UUAD. Infrastructure that would be improved in this district is not owned by the town. It's owned by PG&E, Comcast, and AT&T. The formation of these districts is governed by both state law and local policies. With regard to local policies, in 2016, the council rescinded the underground policy that was in place at the time and placed a moratorium on the formation of any new UUADs being formed. Back in April council meeting, council lifted the moratorium and indicated support for a more streamlined process where the property owners would vote on district formation after the full construction documents and the final engineer's report are completed and the project is bid. This requires fully funding the construction design work and the development of the final engineer's report prior to the vote on district formation, which is a change from the prior policy that the town had operated under for many, many years. At the conclusion of that meeting, council directed staff to develop estimates for the cost of this preliminary work before discussing the following: determining how much, if any, the town would contribute towards the work, and determining how much would be required in funding from property owners in the proposed district to fund the work. This funding from property owners is known as subscription deposits. Just a little bit of background on what the proposed district looks like at this point. You can see a map here on the left. It's quite small, but it includes 35 parcels, some which have multiple addresses. It includes all parcels on Mar West Street, starting at the intersection of Esperanza and Mar West and running southeast to the Sanitary District 5 facility. It also includes 2 parcels on Esperanza Street and 1 parcel on Las Lomas Lane. Since April, staff's been working with CSW ST2 Engineering to develop an estimate for the preliminary work that we discussed based on the proposed district I just described. This estimate is summarized as follows. We have the cost of civil design, which is essentially designing the joint trench and installing the conduit in that joint trench and then restoring the trench and the pavement, and that's $79,200. There's also utility design, which is the cost that we need to pay PG&E, Comcast, and AT&T to design their infrastructure once the conduit is in place. And there's advisory services that the town is required to provide to the property owners. And this is a requirement based on a prior legal settlement from litigation related to a prior undergrounding district. I will note, so if you add those up, that's $165,760. And I'll note that this number differs from the figure that was in the staff report, and we apologize for that. This discrepancy results from a misunderstanding regarding the cost of the utilities design work related to PG&E, Comcast, and AT&T, which was not, we did not identify that discrepancy until this Monday. So what happens next? If council comes to an agreement this evening on a funding strategy to do this preliminary work, staff would provide the project proponents with a formal petition that includes an estimate of total project costs, the total amount of subscription deposits required as determined by council, and as well as a map of depicting the boundaries of the proposed district. Proponents of the project, the property owner proponents of the project would then circulate this petition and collect sufficient petitions to satisfy the legal requirements for district formation, as well as collecting subscription deposits totaling the amount the town council requires. The town would then use those subscription deposits funding along with town funds to complete biddable construction documents and the final engineer's report, and then we would bid the project. At that point, the property owners would have an opportunity to vote on the project based on the final engineer's report, assessment information, and a much more refined total project cost based on actual bids. Assuming this vote is successful, council considers approving the district formation, awards the construction contract, and authorizes bond financing to complete the work. Assuming that the project moves forward, the town would be fully reimbursed by bond proceeds for all town incurred costs, including any funding provided prior to district formation. If, however, the vote by the property owners is unsuccessful, or if the district is not approved for any other reason, the town would not recover any funding provided. So again, we're happy to answer questions, but this evening we're asking council to discuss the matter. And if they choose, establish the amount of funding, which we call subscription deposits, that property owners in the proposed district must contribute for the completion of biddable construction documents and the final engineer's report, and the amount, if any, the town is willing to contribute prior to district formation. With that, be happy to answer any questions.
Great. So are there any questions from the council for staff on the report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, could I ask one?
Please, go ahead.
So thank you for the presentation. In the staff report, you guys enumerated sort of 3 different buckets that the initial fee that we need to pay out is, and it's engineering plans plus utility design plus the $10,000.
Correct.
The engineering plans in number 1 is something we have a quote for from a firm, and number 3 is obviously fixed. But number 2, is that just a computation you guys did based on projected costs, or you didn't actually get a quote from those utilities for that amount, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
The first number, the civil design, is a hard quote from CSWST2 to do the civil design. The estimate for utility design is based on a 20%. Well, first of all, CSWST2 developed an estimate for the utility construction portion for each utility, and then they added 20% to that for the design cost for each utility.
Okay. And do we have any idea what that cost for Virginia and Hawthorne and historic ones in terms? It's similar.
It's very similar.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so why don't we get public comment?
All right, so this is an opportunity for members of the public to speak, either in person or online. Mayor, I assume we'll start with folks in person?
Yes, let's start in person, and I'll just remind everyone, you have 3 minutes for your comments, and please begin, if you would, with your name and whether or not you're in the district or the proposed district.
Hello, Mr. Mayor Wellner, Vice Mayor Nick Farr, and council members. My name is Erin Giacopo. I'm one of the co-chairs of the Mar West Undergrounding District. And I want to thank you first and foremost for your graciousness in entertaining, contributing to the subscription deposits for our neighborhood. I want to also let you know that we've been working on this for 2.5 years, and we have an overwhelming amount of positive support. When I first moved into the neighborhood 2.5 years ago, I was bombarded by neighbors coming up to me saying, "Will you join us? Will you help us?" And then it was, "Will you do this?" And so here I am. And I really believe in this project, and I feel exceedingly confident that this is going to pass, speaking on behalf of my neighbors. I also just appreciate so much the work that has gone into, providing these civil design estimates. Thank you so much to David Issue for his work and diligence in always following up and letting us know where this stands and in getting these final numbers for this estimate. Thank you. And I want to, just again, let you know that we feel exceedingly confident. We don't have any doubt of this passing. And we have put our heart and souls into this for the past 2.5 years. And I want to turn it over now to my colleague, Miles Daly, who is going to talk to you with some hard data and the map and information on what we've collected and the support we have already, garnered.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Miles Daly. I've been a property owner on Mar West for about 4.5 years, and I've been a resident on the street for just under 10 years. In front of you is a highlighted map of the district map provided by David. In the blue are property owners that have given us firm yeses, either in person, via a signed petition, or in an email. And in those packets, there's a copy of the emails. And I believe, Jack, you might have, or Isaac, you might have the master with all the petitions as well. The properties highlighted in yellow are, I would say, assumed yeses. The ones in Los Lomas area, those are the 3 parcels that are under significant construction right now, going through major remodels. So I would assume they're going to be all on board to improve their views. And then 1809 is a parcel that I've had a conversation with about 1.5 years ago, and they expressed interest, but I have not been able to recently have a conversation. And all the blank numbers are people who have just not been able to reach. So here it shows that over 30 people are on board out of 39, and that, yes, there's 35 parcels, but some of those are condos and duplexes, hence the multiple property addresses per parcel. And I think the thing that we have kind of struggled with, and with talking with Jack and David, is we're concerned about putting in too much money from the get-go, because we're going to have to save up and do the tie-ins that are not able to be funded through the municipal bond. So yes, we're all on board about paying the municipal bond and the tie-ins, but the cash up front is what I think people are concerned about. We're all committed to this. So I think the lower this residents can pitch in, the better. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. I have a quick question, just to staff related to that. Can you explain, if you understand it, the tie-ins issue that can't be included? What that's referring to?
Sure. As part of any undergrounding project, the undergrounding project itself is construction of what we call a joint trench in the road, where conduit is laid for the various utilities. And then the utilities come in and pull the wires and cables that go in that conduit. The final step in the process is for each homeowner or each property to install what we call a lateral. And that would go from a junction box that's in the joint trench to each individual home, essentially replacing the current, for the most part, most of these existing properties get their power aerially from a pole. It's essentially replacing that aerial connection to their meter with an underground connection from the joint trench junction box to their home. That is a cost that cannot be part of the undergrounding district itself. It must be borne by each property owner individually.
Okay.
May I ask a question? And based on that, because the properties are so different, we have no way of estimating what that cost may be.
That is correct. As if for, I'm sure you're familiar with Mar West, each property is a bit different. Some houses are very close to the road where the lateral will be relatively easy to do. There are some properties that are up on hills behind retaining walls. Those properties are going to present a little bit more challenging lateral construction. So it's very difficult to predict what that individual lateral cost would be for each property.
And then can I also throw in there that it's also the case that like we don't even have the data for other districts because each one is a private negotiation between the homeowner and whatever.
And whoever-
Oh, it's not even a public piece of information. Yeah.
We're
Okay.
just contracting with an electrician to do it for your property. And so,
Right.
In Hawthorne, we had 120 properties and each one, I mean, there was probably, 10 or 15 electricians that did the whole thing, but we don't know
Yeah.
the cost of each one. So it's kind of an estimate.
Okay. All right. So why don't we continue with public comment? I can't see if there are others in the room or online.
I'm sure we have a few more folks in the room.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Ely, and I live at 145 Esperanza Street. And this past fall, I was sitting in my home looking out the window and thinking, how awesome it would be if we could underground some of the power poles here in Old Tiburon. So I jotted off an email to the city, and you can imagine my delight when I found out that the fine people of Mar West had already been spending years putting this together, and that we would benefit from this incredible new view and safety and everything else that goes along with undergrounding. So I'm just here to introduce myself to say I would love to, unfortunately, I'm late in the process, but we're on the west side of Esperanza, just as you go from Centro West, and if you were to walk down to the TPC is where we sit. Everyone else on the west side of the street is undergrounded except for us. We're tied into the pole on Centro West in Esperanza. We would love to participate in this, be part of this process, and get rid of our power pole as well, if that's at all possible. So anyway, I know we're late here to the process, but I first of all just want to say thank you. So excited for this, and hopefully we can participate.
Wait, sorry, you said 145 Esperanza?
145.
Thanks. So that's like next to the Goldbergs.
Exactly, right next to the ball.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna let staff comment about this. Also, my understanding is that the size and shape of the district is up to the district members who propose it. And the estimated costs of both calculating the overall project and then ultimately the cost of the project, of course, is dependent on what the district is. So in order for the council to be able to make a decision about going forward in funding, we need to understand from the district proponents whether the district will remain what's been proposed up till now, or if there's going to be any change in that. So I'll let either David or Greg comment on that. But if there is a real question about the size or shape of the district, I think it's difficult for us to proceed with a decision tonight because we don't know what the costs will then be.
I'll just give a brief comment. It depends. For instance, the gentleman who just spoke at 145 Esperanza happens to be, adjacent to the district, very close across the street. Adding a property like 145 would likely not change the design cost very much, perhaps in the order of $5,000 to $10,000. Is what we did ask our engineers about this specific property because the gentleman reached out to us in advance, so we were able to do that. I don't know what the effect of adding that property would be on the overall project cost in terms of construction, because we haven't looked at the property and what it means by adding it, in terms of trench length, or if there's something super unusual about it. So again, adding one property, this property in particular, probably isn't that big of a deal. But what would concern us is if moving forward, other property owners come out and say, "I want to be part of the district, and I want to be part of the district." It's really impossible for us to to work on the fly like that when we're issuing contracts for specific design parameters. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but.
So let me parrot back what I think I hear you saying, and then I'd love to hear from Jack or others if they agree. It sounds like what you're saying is that whether the district decides to add this property or another property to the district probably won't have a material impact on the cost of creating the plan for the overall project. But we obviously, before that plan can be done, we need to know exactly what the district is.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So in
To
other words,
reiterate, this specific property, because we had the opportunity to discuss it with our engineers, they indicated that it's because it's so close, it's right across the street. The added design cost, they were just estimating at $5,000 for this particular property.
okay, so it doesn't stop us from moving forward tonight, but it does mean that we would want to hear from both the leaders of the project in general and the gentleman who's proposing to add his house to the project quickly about whether or not that will become part of the project or not. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Any comments from the council on that?
So I have a follow-up question, actually. So the district as formed right now, do the members of it have the opportunity to say, no, we don't want to add other properties?
It's not exactly clear. I suppose the answer is yes. I mean, again, this is one of the peculiarities about these types of projects, right? They are brought to us by residents. These are not town driven projects. We don't define the boundaries. Property owners come to us and say, hey, we think this is a great district. And in this case, the property owners came to us and said, we're the owners on Mar West, from Esperanza, essentially to the last house, before you get to the Sanitary 5 district. We'd like to explore the possibility of forming a district on Mar West from Esperanza to that point. When we gave that information to the engineers, and then they went to PG&E to say, hey, if we were going to underground all these houses on Mar West, do we by definition have to add other parcels because of the way the grid is currently configured? And that's how we ended up with a couple of extra houses up Esperanza and a couple of, maybe one house up Las Lomas. They're required to be in the district
Because
if all the houses on Mar West are. So I think
service is delivered on.
exactly.
So it sounds like the answer to the question is that the district actually would have the ability to say, we don't want to take on other properties, even knowing there might be a benefit of cost. They may not want to.
Yeah, I can give you another example. It's a little bit different than this because in this instance, at this point, we're only talking about one property. When the Virginia Undergrounding District was formed, as I recall, in Virginia is both, I think it's, I guess, east, southeast, and northwest of Rock Hill, I think. Right. And the folks on the Virginia on the east wanted to form the district. And I think there were some folks on the other side who wanted to be part of it. And the original proponents looked at it and they started talking to folks and they realized they may not have the support. So they decided, no, we're not going to include any properties on the other side.
Yeah, so just my 2 cents, I would prefer to go forward with this as the proposed district, and we're not certifying the boundary tonight, so that doesn't matter. But then after this meeting, the utility undergrounding subcommittee can meet both with the gentleman from 145 and the proponents from Mar West and maybe an engineer and see what we can work out. But anything that we approve tonight is predicated on the boundary being approved as proposed tonight. That make sense?
Yes.
Mayor, you look skeptical.
Yeah, I guess. Sure, that's fine. I think what I heard was that it wouldn't have a real material impact on the cost of the design, so we don't have to revisit that approval. We just have to reach resolution about what the district is before starting the project or before starting the design.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, but I'm happy to do it either way.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having the language in there just to let us get another look if we need it, but.
Okay. All right.
Mayor, if I may suggest, we should continue with public comment and then do the back and forth.
Sure, thank you. So let's continue public comment, please.
Again, opportunity. We do have one member of the public online, but I want to double check here in the room. Are there other members in the public here in the room who'd like to make public comment? Thank you.
Hi, yes, thank you. My name is Jamie and my husband James Hutton is back there. We are at 1761 Mar West and we are in full support of the project and really appreciate your support tonight on this undergrounding project. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are there any, it looks like we still have some folks in the room. Mayor?
Please.
Hello, everyone. My husband and I live at 1711 Mar West. We were lucky enough to purchase our home last year, and we are in full support of this project and really appreciate your support in it as well.
Okay, thank you.
You've got still a few more folks in the room, Mayor.
Great.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alexandra Owen, and my husband and I fully support the project. We live at 1889 Mar West. It's a great house. It's right there, and the wires come straight across and destroy our view. And so we are definitely in favor and fully support the project as described by Erin and Miles here. And I think if anybody wants to join us, like 145 Esperanza, that's something that we should discuss at another time. And I see no reason why they shouldn't join us for $5,000. I mean, it's kind of an absurd amount of money to be worried about. You know, I don't think it worries us, and I don't think it worries 145 Esperanza either. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And just to clarify, I think the 5,000 is for design. That's not the addition incremental cost for inclusion. We don't know what that is yet.
Hey, everybody. I'm Zach. I am in the district on Mara West, and I just wanted to express my support for this project and also appreciation for giving us the platform to be able to try to accomplish this. I think there's a tremendous benefit to the community from a grid resilience standpoint, from a fire prevention standpoint, and it just benefits the community and, of course, our views as well. We overlook the beautiful San Francisco and in downtown Tiburon, and I think it would really enrich the community. So appreciate the support and thank you all for working on this.
Thank you.
My name is Paul Jacopo. I'm at 1893 Mar West, husband of first speaker Aaron. I also just wanted to add the safety factor. We have this lovely view of the bay, as it was mentioned, but literally a science experiments of wires. It looks like something, I work in the film industry, and this would be great reference for a futuristic, scientific, Orwellian. It's crazy, the number of wires, and we lost power 3 times over the holiday. The winds just whip at the house, and you see these wires just whipping, and it's a little scary to be up there. And we all work from home, lose connectivity to work, and I can't work, lose power, and it's just, if you were there and saw it, it's just the contrast of the beauty of Tiburon and the bay, and these wires whipping dangerously like octopus. The poles are old. There's woodpeckers. I mean, I'm sorry, I just gotta say. So thank you so much for everything you are all considering.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bruce Owen. I live at 1889 Mar West, and I'm in complete support of this project. We moved here about 4 years ago from San Francisco, and I can't tell you what a wonderful, wonderful place it is to live. And those wires are really an abomination. And especially, I know the house that's right next door to us has this enormous transformer right in the corner of the house, which screws up a lot of the networking, what do you call it, the internet stuff and whatever. So this would make a very positive contribution, I think. But most certainly, the main contribution is the city of Tiburon to have those wires gone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robin Rutledge, 1801 Mar West. I also own a beautiful condo where I'm Greg and Polly's neighbor, where my mom is down at Lagoon Vista. We moved in over 11 years ago. I cannot tell you how this beautiful, what I view to be one of the most heterogeneous and oldest streets in Tiburon has become a neighborhood in the last 11 years. And I will tell you, my 12-year-old daughter, she turned 12 last July. The one thing she wanted for her birthday was not a trip to Sephora, not a Starbucks gift card, but a redecoration of her bedroom. And when her friends come over and they look out her bedroom, they say, like, nice, but all they look at are the wires. And they play a game where they count how many there are. And fun fact, and take this to your next cocktail party, in the terrible fire that we can all remember from 2019 in the fall of the orange sky, there was a gentleman from PG&E out front of our house, and he was working on the lines when we had no power. And I asked him, I said, what are you doing? And he just kept adding and adding. And I said, well, don't you take down the ones when you replace them? And that explains why this problem has actually become something that this community has noticed a lot more over the last many years. The last thing I'll say, thank you for your time, is that in my 11 years living on the street and further investing in this community, I have seen this neighborhood in different ways come together and already start working together on other issues or other challenges in the neighborhood, even as simply as, we have a neighbor who's not well and how we all work together for that. So when this community comes together and tells you that we have real confidence, my kids don't let me out at night, right? And I'm here tonight. And that just tells you, I think, for many of us, why we're here. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your support and your consideration. And this confidence really is shared amongst our community.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else in the room who would like to speak? It doesn't look like there's anyone in the room. Mr. Mayor, there is a member of the public online who we will bring into the Zoom meeting now.
Great, thank you.
Hi, my name is Beth and I live on Mar West. I've been a homeowner with my husband and our two kids. Say hi, girls. Girls, can you say hi? Hi, they've been watching the whole thing. They love town government. They love Tiburon. Anyways, we are so excited about this. Thank you to everyone who has participated. I love Tiburon, and just seeing everyone come together for this has been great. I also have full confidence. It's been nice. I've just been able to sit back and watch this one go, but full support. And then I wanted to add, I know everyone talks about the views, which are obviously very important, but our power line actually exploded on the side of our house about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And when we heard the explosion, we evacuated, and the fire department and PG&E came. Fortunately, our house did not catch on fire, but I'm just letting you know these are really, really old power lines, and we got lucky. And when they were fixing it, PG&E told me they were from like the 1960s or older. And I personally feel like, views aside, it's really a big safety hazard and issue. And the fire department has told me that Mar West is very crucial in getting up to the hill if there were ever a fire on the hill, God forbid. So thank you very much, and thank you to everyone for working on this, and I'm very excited to see it go forward.
Thank you, Beth.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that is the last public comment online.
All right, thank you. So we'll close the public comment period and bring it back to the council. I think the key decision here, the key discussion item is to what degree the town can contribute to the initial design costs. And one thing to keep in mind as we discuss this is I think we're all very conscious of the fact that we haven't yet approved a policy approach for how we're going to do this in general. But I do think that what we do here is probably going to be an important precedent for how we design the policy. And so this isn't just kind of a one-off decision. I think this has implications for when the next neighborhood asks how to do this, what our policy will be in terms of how to go forward. So I would just keep that in mind. as we talk about what the town should be contributing at this stage of a project. So I'm happy to open this up for discussion. Does anyone want to start?
Do you want me to not surprise you now or not surprise you later? It's like, so.
As long as you don't mind me not surprising you after you don't surprise me.
Perfect. So yeah, so my thinking on this hasn't changed from where we were when we discussed this last time with respect to the policy. And so my cutting to the chase, the lead would be, I would love them to contribute at least $50,000, which is consistent with what I said that I was advocating for that our policy should be. It would be, at that point I said $50,000 or 1% of the project cost. This $50,000 represents like 1.7% of the projected project cost. And again, like, this is a loan, right? We're not giving money that doesn't come back, assuming that the district passes. And I really, legitimately, I can't envision a scenario where 30 people out of 39 houses would give money and they wouldn't follow through with yes votes that would therefore be problematic for our loan, right? That the safety of our loan is part and parcel of the safety of the district passing. And I think that, the experience in Hawthorne certainly bears it out that people who give money vote yes. No one's going to write a check and then vote no. This is not human behavior. And I think that, if they want to collect more money, because if 30 houses, I don't know what check they want to write, but if they want to give more, that's fine. But I think $50,000 is an amount that is serious enough, proportional to the town's contribution, that it's virtually inconceivable that they wouldn't vote yes, and that our loan is incredibly safe. And then on top of that, I mean, it is a loan, but it's part of a policy objective that I have, and I don't know if other people share it, but I want people to underground, and I think this is a very effective way and a reasonable use of the town's money to promote undergrounding by letting residents understand that if they demonstrate enough seriousness, then we will help them get to the finish line. And then finally, this amount of money, this $165,000 or whatever that the total is that might be required is, that gets them full engineering plans. And in Hawthorne, we had about $150,000, and that bought us a world of uncertainty because it gave us a preliminary plan. And, all of the litigation, the Stewart one, is why we have the $10,000 advisory fee. And then the Del Mar one, those all happened because people were voting on estimates. And then when the reality came, the votes got thrown up in the air. So the fact that this gives certainty and we're getting a message from the community that they are certain that it's going to pass, I think $50,000 is perfectly reasonable on this one for them to contribute, and then we can contribute the balance as a loan.
Okay, thank you. Are there other comments?
Yeah,
I
I
would like
have
to-
a comment.
sorry.
No, please go ahead. After you.
Thank you. I just have some very, very simple comments. I wonder if there's a way, since this will be a policy going forward, to nail it as a percentage of the costs. I mean, you actually mentioned some perfectly reasonable amounts in terms of a percentage. And then just to throw into the mix, just a comment on why the risk of town funds is worth it. There really is no district that can be formed that doesn't benefit the whole community, even if it's only in terms of keeping utilities services going during emergencies for everybody, and in terms of evacuation safeties for everyone. We have something like 180 roads in this town, and 140 of them are dead ends. Every road needs to be, that's in the fire district's report, needs to be accessible. And if you can reduce the risk of down lines across roadways, it's definitely worth it for us to do that. So those are my two comments, why we should risk our town funds, and the other is to come up with a formula, maybe a percentage today.
Okay, Isaac?
Yes, I think I tend to agree and appreciate the comments of Councilmember Fredericks and Councilmember Ryan. Um, I agree that this is a safety issue, and I'm really thankful that the neighborhood has organized this far and taking things to where they are right now. And I'd love to be able to help, pledge town funds to help move this forward, even if they are in the form of a loan. To make sure that all the work that this neighborhood has done to organize and get us to where we are right now can continue forward. I also really like the point that Councilmember Ryan brought up around removing barriers. And I think we did that in April, where we removed some of the barriers by streamlining the process to having one final engineering report rather than an initial engineering report and then a final engineering report. That was a big step there. I think also, pledging some amount from town funds, if it helps, again, move this forward. I think I'm very supportive of that today as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think we've lost Councilmember Thier. So I'll go ahead and make my comment, which is I hear what you're saying, and I agree with most of it. My thinking goes towards, again, this policy question, and I think that the next neighborhood that comes to us could have a much bigger project with a lot more money at stake for the town, and could be less certain of approval. Not everyone is going to be 30 homes out of 39 are firm yeses. So I think we should be picking a percentage so that when the next time that it happens, we're not saying, okay, this time the design is going to be $500,000, but the town is still just going to be contributing, or the residents are still just going to be contributing 50,000. So, my initial thinking, which I still think is probably right, is to have the town, go in 50% with the residents to move these projects forward. And so that would be a difference of, in this case, from 50,000 to 80,000 that we would expecting residents to pay, which, to the extent that there are 30 homes that are lined up for this, would be an extra 1,000 per home. But it would create a policy where the money that the town puts at risk is matched by the money that the residents put up. And if there's a project in the future where the costs are more substantial and the passage is less certain, the town will have a consistent approach and say, look, we'll meet you halfway. If you can, if the project is bigger, that probably means there are more homes. So, it doesn't mean that the cost per home necessarily will go up, but it follows a principle that there are great benefits to the town for going forward with undergrounding. I'm a big supporter. I also think that the town is relying on residents to organize and move forward, and there is risk. There's public taxpayer money at risk that could be lost. So I guess my proposal would be that we go forward with an approach that we can replicate and not have to make up new numbers each time a proposal comes before us. So that's why I land on the 50% approach.
Yeah, thanks for that. So I guess my pushback on that would be a couple of things. And one is, I know that the 50% sounds like a great round number, but it's kind of meaningless in terms of what you're thinking about in terms of the risk of the loan. Like, why is 50% any different than 30% when it comes to the district members voting for the project? And other than the fact that it's less money for the town to put forward. And then with respect to the point of the policy incentive, I mean, I just want to remind everybody, Belvedere requires citizens to put up 0, and they've only had one district fail, and they are 95% undergrounded. And so the policy works when the municipality contributes. And it seems to be that the more that they contribute, the more more undergrounding they have. So I hear you what you're saying that the 50 sounds right, but I also think that it doesn't change the behavior of the voters in the district, and it does impact their ability to collect that amount of money. But it's not the case that people are writing checks for 2,000 and they could be writing them for 3,000 and they don't care about 2,000 and they do care about 3,000. I think that's not the way we should be thinking about it. Is that these people are demonstrating that they care a lot by giving us $2,000 that they could lose. And they don't have $16 million annual budgets, their household budget. We have $16 million annual operating budget. And we have money in the bank. I mean, I think I think that symmetry is not the right way to look at things with all these, so I would advocate, I don't mind circling back to a policy objective, but I think that 50% of the design cost is not what we should be targeting, and that we could do a percentage of project cost. And again, I still think $50,000 would be the absolute minimum. And then we could do, 1 to 1.5% of the project cost, but I just don't think that 50% of the design cost is the right way to go about it.
So I would just say that the reason I disagree with the project cost approach is that we don't know the project cost until the whole point of having the design happen first is because you and others pointed out that having an estimate of design cost and then having it radically change is a problem. And so to say that the neighborhood should contribute some percentage of design cost when we don't know, or not design cost, of project cost, when the whole purpose of the design is to come up with what that cost is, I think makes no sense. I also think that the problem with 50,000 is that if the project were twice as large, money wise and individual wise, you get to the point where if, like I said, if it's a $500,000 project and there are instead of 30, there are 80 homes, you wind up having 80 homes split 50,000 and the town contributing 450,000. I think picking an absolute number for widely varying districts is problematic. And I would also point out that when you talked about Belvedere, yeah, you made it sound great, but I don't know how much it was, but there was one project where Belvedere paid for the design costs and it didn't go forward. And who ate that cost was the rest of the residents of Belvedere who paid for that money. I don't think we're really far apart in terms of how are thinking about the value of these projects. I just think that an absolute number or a percentage of a project cost that we don't know, neither one of those makes sense. I think a percentage of the design cost is the right way to go. And maybe you disagree with 50%, but I think that's the only way to have this scale for different kinds of projects.
I just one comment. I think for tonight, we don't necessarily have to legislate our policy for the town tonight.
That's true.
We've done what 4 of these in the last 20 years, right? So I don't know that we necessarily have to have a policy for forever that needs to be decided, between John and Jack tonight. I think what we could do is narrow or focus the conversation on this particular project, and then hopefully get this thing out the door and shipped, and then let them go back to trying to organize and getting actually undergrounded. And it seems like, may not sound like you guys are far off, but it sounds like philosophically you are, in my opinion, just sort of hearing the last couple minutes. And rather than, dragging this out any more than we need to, I think, we could pick something just for this project, and then maybe at an offsite or something, or later on, we could sort of discuss policy.
just as a matter of question for the staff, is there a way to frame this so that it's not a precedent, but just a precursor to a policy decision?
Of course, I think that's what Vice Mayor Nickfar, I think, just articulated, that
Yes, he did.
the decision you make tonight isn't necessarily setting policy. And, it's up to the council to decide, how much of a precedent is, whatever you decide this evening, how much of a precedent that is. So of course, you're absolutely not locking yourself into a future decision.
So it sounds as though relevant to what Councilmember Nick Farr is talking about, we should go ahead and make the decision tonight and then get on making a policy decision as soon as possible. So it's not just sitting simmering until another district pops up.
Because I do see the merit in what Mayor Wellner is bringing up. We do need I think we do need to think about what our policy will be. But it just it feels forced at the moment for us to sort of think about a larger problem when we could solve a smaller one tonight.
So
I agree.
I hear you. And I would say though, I'm going to circle back just because I love talking about utility undergrounding and I don't get enough opportunity to talk about it. And Aaron, you're going to feel the same way in 5 years. You're going to be like, I'm going to talk about this because I spent 5 years on this. I don't think that John and I are that far off either. I mean, I think because I could just say, okay, well, it's 30%. That's what I want the percent to be. Because at the end of the day, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but like the design costs, if you look back on like the history of projects, are a percentage of the project cost. And that's kind of how the design firms kind of fake their way into what their fee is going to be. So you're kind of doing a percentage of the project cost anyway. And you need a project cost to go on the petition. So like we circularly are referencing the same stuff, but you just think 50% and I think it should be 20%. But
what I really think is a percent. And I think the percent, I guess what I would say is, I think for the future, when we talk about what the policy should be, I think the relevant number is, and this is it's going to be a little hard to articulate, but basically the design cost varies with the number of houses to some degree. I mean, there's going to be, it's not always going to be that way. Basically, either the design cost, one could say the design cost is typically invariable and just is always the same no matter how big the project is. Or you can say, depending on how big the project is in terms of number of houses, the design cost goes up proportionally. And we don't know the facts of that. So it would be very interesting to know in terms of the past projects that we've had, how the design costs have been related to the number of houses. In this, I guess what I would propose we do, and this is a compromise that basically gives you more of what you want than what I want. But my suggestion is that we tonight vote that they should pay a percentage that's a third. And then as we're developing our policy, the debate would be, what should the percentage be going forward? What's the right percentage of overall project cost for owners to bear? And then we can get more facts about that and decide on what the right number is. But that way you basically get your number, but we're basing it on a percentage rather than on a fixed 50,000, no matter what the project size is.
right. Yeah. So, I mean, so does staff want a dollar number or a percent number, or do you not care?
We don't really care. I mean, it's either a dollar number, just to a third of the numbers.
$50,000, right?
It's $54,700.
Right. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable thing to do. And I would make a motion that we require a subscription deposit from the neighborhood of no less than a third of the design cost as listed in the staff report.
Not the staff report, is revised verbally, but yes. Staff report was 105,000.
And if they want to contribute more, we're welcome to take, we can take that, but that would be, sounds like that's my motion. I move that we approve that.
I just want to be clear, and Mayor Wellner mentioned it. The third, you said, correct, is based on the 165,760 number. Yes. Okay. Yep. So I believe there's a motion.
Okay. And just to shock everybody, I'll second that. Okay, can we?
Are we ready for a roll call,
Yeah,
Mr. Mayor?
I just have a question. Do we need to also add to the motion authorizing the town manager to execute the professional services agreement, or is that a separate motion that we should work on for
In the staff report, it was listed as a separate motion, but at this point, I don't think it's necessary because there's going to be some other contracts that you'll have to approve related to design work by utilities. It's going to take some time for the property owners to get the petition, distribute the petition, collect the money, and we'll come back at a future meeting to have council formalize everything once we know the real.
And what about the budget amendment? Should we
We
include?
don't need to do that at this point either. We'll do that when we execute the contracts.
So only the single motion is all we need to let these good folks move forward.
Yep, because that'll allow us to create a petition that has all the necessary information for them to make a decision.
Thank you. No further clarifying questions.
With that, Mr. Mayor, are you ready for a roll call?
I am if no one else has further comments. Yeah.
Okay, Councilmember Fredericks.
Yes.
Councilmember Ryan.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nick Farr.
Yes.
Mayor Wellner.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks and congratulations to the district. And then I'll just remind everyone that we did discuss the subcommittee meeting with the district and the additional individual who wants to join to figure out what the actual shape of the district will be.
Yep. Yeah, Councilmember Fredericks and I are on that.
All right, great.
That's our power. We take it from centralized.
How come we don't see the Zoom anymore?
But I think it's putting us outside.
Can you see me?
And it's on outside.
There. Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor Wellner, we have folks exiting the room.
I
But
can hear
when you're ready, we're happy to move on to the. No, we have one more item. Yep.
Yeah. So let's go to the third item, the calendar for the coming year. Can we have a staff report, please?
Could you hang on a second, David? If you could bring that up on the screen as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've gotten in the habit of having you all have a look at the upcoming meeting schedule for council. Oh, you hit the wrong one. It's the soffit. And so on the screen and as an exhibit to your staff report, we've provided sort of a draft meeting schedule, and I've indicated we're going to scroll up, but it indicated in red a couple of dates that identified by the town clerk that council may want to consider before approving. February 18th happens to be, I think, ski week. April 1st is Passover. And if you want to scroll down a little further, I have July highlighted in red only because for the past several years, council has canceled the meetings in July. Other than that, I really have nothing further to add, but happy to answer any questions before council.
And I just want to confirm, February 18th is when the Tiburon School District, when Reed School is on break. Is that confirmed?
That's correct.
So we did meet on February 19th of 2025. But we did not, it looks like we only had one meeting in April, one meeting in May, two in June, none in July, and one in August. And then we also had one in December. So those are some additional considerations if we're looking at last year.
I have to say I have a sense after serving on the council for a little while that last year was extraordinary in the number of canceled meetings.
Yeah, I mean, the August one was just canceled because we didn't have business at that time. But it wasn't like a holiday or anything. And I think we always customarily cancel the last December meeting, but we schedule it and then we cancel it, right?
Yeah.
That's typically what we do, yeah.
And I'll be around on February 18th. I don't know if everyone else will be, but
Yeah, I would like to keep that meeting if we don't have a reason to cancel it.
Yeah, we can always make a change later if we have a quorum issue. So
Actually, I have one question. Was there a request from town staff to cancel that?
Oh, no,
Because
not at all.
I would be very open to canceling it if town staff wanted to get out of town for ski week or something.
No. This is just based on historic
Okay.
meeting schedule.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think we should schedule all our meetings except for either religious holidays or if we want to not have them in July, if that's the consensus, I'm fine with that. But otherwise, we could schedule them all, and then if there's a problem with any given meeting, we can cancel it. But does that make sense to the rest of you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So just to be clear, are we canceling April 1st? Are you adopting the calendar with April 1st being canceled, but all other meetings staying scheduled unless,
I
something?
think we were also eliminating July since that's been our practice, but I'm open to what the council wants.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be around, but yeah.
Yeah. So do we want to leave July or do we want to remove July?
I think we should just remove July.
Yeah.
And we can always
Okay.
have a meeting if there's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
let's remove it.
leave February, and then we're canceling April 1st and July.
If
That sound
Yeah, I like it.
correct?
Okay, that sounds good to me. So I think we need to have public comment.
there's no one in the room, but he's not here to comment. No members of the public are in the room, and there are none online, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, great. So do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the calendar as edited by.
I'll second that.
Okay, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Fredericks, Councilmember Ryan,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nick Farr,
Yes.
Mayor Wellner.
Yes. Great. So I think at this point, before we adjourn for closed session, I just want to check and see if we have, I don't have the agenda in front of me, but do we have any staff reports or council reports?
Nothing from the town manager, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any council members?
No.
Okay, so at this point, will we need to take any public comment on the items listed for closed session?
There appears to be no public comment, Mayor Wellner.
Okay, great. So we're gonna adjourn to closed session and then we will return and report out. Thank you very much.
Their burgers, they weren't cheeseburgers. Right about. Oh, they like cheese. Yeah. So this is such a Belvedere move. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
Okay, well, we're reconvening after closed session. We have no reportable items, and our meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor.
Good night.